Learn how to take control of your diet, your weight, and your health. It's Take Control Tuesdays. Hey, it's Trisha Mandis here, and today I'm going to summarize a really awesome, useful lecture for you called How to Lose Weight Without Losing Your Mind, and it's by Doug Lisle, PhD. He's also a clinical psychologist, and this lecture is posted for free online, so I will have the link to it if you want to watch the whole 1-hour lecture, and I highly recommend that you do. It's called How to Lose Weight Without Losing Your Mind. Dr. Doug Lisle is also the Director of Research at the True North Health Center in California. He's published numerous articles in scientific literature, and he is the co-author of this really awesome book called The Pleasure Trap: Mastering the Hidden Force That Undermines Health and Happiness, and I highly, highly recommend this book. It is one of my top 2 favorite books on diet and nutrition, so if you are interested in losing weight or maintaining a healthy weight, this is one of the #1 books that I recommend, so go get it. I know it's backwards, but y'all get the idea. So, in this lecture, Dr. Doug Lisle begins by saying how there's only 3 species on the planet, 3 animals that have problems with their weight. Out of all the millions and millions of animals that are on the planet, there's only 3, and they are humans, dogs, and cats. Animals in their natural habitat don't get fat. They don't overeat even when there is abundance of food available. This demonstrates that being overweight isn't because food is plentiful. Animals eating to full satisfaction, as Dr. Doug Lisle says, in their natural habitat will over time neither eat too much or too little for optimum health. They're always just about perfect. It's a natural mechanism in our bodies, their bodies. However, there's this assumption, especially by thin people, that overweight people are what Doug Lisle calls eating into the pain. They're always eating so much until it even hurts. They'll eat that much until it hurts, and they're doing that every day. And skinny people just don't understand. Why don't you just eat a little bit less? Just push the plate away and then you'll lose weight. Because people think that this is the solution. They think that the way to lose weight is to push the plate away and exercise more, that they need to eat less. But you end up with as Dr. Doug Lisle says, a ferocious hunger drive. You become exhausted, and then you're going off of willpower to try and lose weight, which is not good. It's not what you want to do. And if you congratulate yourself for eating less one day, the next day you're going to be paying for it because you're going to be even hungrier the next day, and then you're going to end up eating more. However, skinny people think that they have it right because fat people or people with excess weight are being overindulgent, and that skinny people aren't being overindulgent. Women in the United States gain about 1 pound per year, according to Dr. Lisle, from the age of 20 to 40, and they'll gain a pound a year. This equals about 10 extra calories a day. That's it. So people aren't massively overeating. They're not completely out of control, which is what we're taught or we believe. But other animals in nature have it just right. They are in the very narrow targets of perfection, as humans also should be. This is because of the Law of Satiety. The Law of Satiety. I'm going to say it again because it's that important. A natural law that can't and shouldn't be violated, and if it is, you're going to become overweight. In our gastrointestinal systems, in our stomachs, we have nutrient and stretch receptors. When these receptors become appropriately activated from the foods we eat, our bodies will tell us when to stop eating. We know they've been appropriately activated when, 1, there's enough food in our stomach, which activates our stretch receptors. There's enough bulk in there. And 2, when we've gotten enough nutrients, calories and macronutrients like fat, protein, and carbohydrate. So when we have enough nutrition, those receptors get activated, and when we have enough bulk or enough food, the stretch receptors become activated, and that is what will tell our brain, activate our hypothalamus, and tell us to stop eating, so we don't want to eat anymore. On the flip side, when we have too much bulk in our stomach, and we're stretching our stomach so much, this will cause us pain. It's a regulating system, it's a feedback loop. But stretch receptors isn't enough to make us stop eating. If you have a lot of bulk in there, like if you eat 2 pounds of lettuce. That is a lot of food. However, you're not getting enough nutrition. You're not getting enough calories. So you're still gonna feel hungry even though you've eaten this massive amount of food. So it's important, again, that the stretch receptors are activated enough and that the nutrient receptors are activated enough. This is the law of satiety, using the nutrient and stretch receptors as a calorie estimation system. And when you eat the right foods and you eat whole natural plant foods found in their original form, they will give your body the precise amount of calories to eat so you won't become overweight. Or if you are overweight, you'll start to lose weight when you just start swapping a food that is high in calories, concentrated calories, and you swap it for whole natural foods, then the weight will start to come off. And if you want to lose more weight, then you swap some more foods. So if you were to eat a chocolate shake and a piece of pizza, something that has concentrated calories, about 500 calories, it's a smaller volume of food versus 500 calories of whole natural plant foods like beans and berries and potatoes and pasta. People have individual differences in their nutrient and stretch receptors in their stomachs. This is how skinny people and fat people can eat the same type of food. However, one person will be more overweight than the other one. So more nutrient receptors become activated more easily, telling you to stop eating with less calories. So skinnier people will have more nutrient receptors. A few nutrient receptors that are harder to get activated is what is happening in people who are overweight. We don't have as many nutrient and stretch receptors, so we have to eat more food in order for those to get activated. When people are breaking the natural law of satiety, it is because they're eating foods where the fiber and water of the food has been removed. So when you take the fiber and the water out of the food, it shrinks the food, so you're eating the same amount of calories, but it's a smaller portion, so your stomach thinks that you're eating a lesser amount of calories than you really are. So it's fooling your stretch receptors and it's fooling your nutrient receptors. An example of this in practice, Dr. Lyle in the lecture points to a study from Penn State University where there was 2 groups of women and they ate the same bowl size of pasta. They had the same amount. The first group ate 500 calories worth of pasta and they were done. They didn't want any more. The second group had the same size amount of pasta, but they ate 300 calories more even though it was the same size. Now, how did this happen? It's because there was oil on the pasta. Oil is a super hyper concentrated amount of calories and the nervous system can't pick it up because, again, it's a hyper concentrated amount of calories and it's not taking up any space. So the nutrient receptors are being fooled. The second group would never have eaten that extra 300 calories if it weren't for the oil. They would have eaten just like the first group. So again, this is one of the reasons I advocate that people get oil out of their diet because it is so high in calories. It's the most concentrated food when it comes to calories on the planet. So people are eating hyper-concentrated amounts of fat and it's slipping past the satiety mechanism. This is the #1 problem with weight management today, is that the law of satiety is being broken because we're eating super concentrated foods that are concentrated in an abundance of calories and an abundance of fat. So Dr. Lyle says the primary cause of this dietary excess is 1, a fiber deficiency. Only whole plant foods have fiber. Animal foods do not contain any fiber at all. And secondly is fiber damage. So the processing of foods can break apart the fiber, so when we eat them, they're digested a lot more quickly. Our stomachs don't have to work as hard. So when you're eating 4 pieces of bread, you're going to be eating a lot more calories and it's not going to be as filling as if you were going to eat that same amount of calories of rice and beans. It'd be a lot harder to do. You might not even be able to eat that much food. So when the fiber has been broken and disturbed, it confuses the stretch receptor mechanisms and it can trick you into eating more food or specifically more calories. So the result is an overconsumption of calories due to an artificial concentration in the diet. So to break this down again, what's more filling? 2 cups of ice cream or a half gallon of raw salad with 3 ears of corn and 2 baked potatoes and a pound of cherries. Which one is going to fill you up more? I even couldn't eat all of those whole plant foods in one sitting. 2 cups of ice cream, no problem. I could easily eat more than that, but again, I'm going to be eating more calories and more fat that way. So, bad foods take up a little amount of space in our stomachs with a lot of calories, so it's harder for the system to read and detect them. So if you are overweight right now, there is nothing wrong with you. You do not have a lack of willpower. You're simply eating hyper-concentrated calories somehow in some form. Your diet is too concentrated. It's a dietary content problem. It is not a personal issue. There's nothing wrong with you. All you need to do is swap one concentrated food for an unconcentrated food. And if you want to lose more weight, just simply swap more of those foods. So Doug Lisle points out that in the United States, Americans are currently only eating 7% of their calories from whole plant foods. 51% of the foods are currently coming from refined and processed foods, where 42% of our calories are coming from animal and dairy foods. We are eating an abundance of highly concentrated foods. So if you think you've tried everything, you've tried every diet, and being overweight is just the way you're supposed to be, or if you eat healthy and you're still overweight, I want you to answer yes or no to these questions. Have you ever followed the dietary advice of Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn? How about Dr. Neil Barnard, Joel Fuhrman, Dr. T. Colin Campbell, Dr. Pam Popper, Doug Lisle? How about Alan Goldhammer? If you answered no, then you haven't tried what myself and these amazing doctors recommend. If you answered no, then you've not tried everything and you are not doomed to deal with excess weight. If you answered no, your stomach is being fooled from the foods in your diet, and for the average person, it's going to be difficult to maintain a healthy weight. Time for you to put this knowledge into action and begin to take control of your diet. And part of doing just that is answering this question and putting your answers in the comment section below this video. Have you ever followed the dietary advice of any of these plant-based docs I just mentioned, like Dr. Doug Lisle? What has your previous experience been dieting before, on or off a plant-based diet? Put your answers in the comment section below. And if you like this video, and I hope you did, please share it with your friends. Send them over to trishamandis.com and have them sign up for free email updates for these videos and other awesome things that could help you that I'm doing. And if you want more healthy eating, inspiration, and motivation, come find me on social media. Thanks so much for watching. Get educated, get support, and take control. You can get the healthy body you deserve. Today I'm going to talk to you about a lecture. Director of Resource. It's Take Control Tuesday. I need someone to sing for me because I can't really do that. Excess fat, blah, 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 blah. So,